Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadari Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Radha Madhava ki Shri Radha Radhanath ki Jaya Om Vishnu Pada Paramamsa Parivrakacharya Stottara Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Samstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki Mantra Upasaka Srila Prabhupada ki Senapati Bhakta Srila Prabhupada ki Preeminent Shiksha Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Savior of the whole world Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se Kho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Mayapur Dham ki, Ganga Maya ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, Gaura Premananda, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, text number 26, chapter 24, entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva, text number 26. And repeat after me. Sa tan prapanarati haro bhagavan dharma vatsala dharma gyan shila sampanan prita pritan uvacha ha satan prapanarati haro satan prapanarati haro Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala Dharma Gyan Shila Sampanan Dharma Gyan Shila Sampanan Prita Pritan Uvachaha Satan Prapanarati Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala Dharma Gyan Shila Sampanan Prita Pritan Uvachaha Satan Prapanarati Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala Dharma Gyan Shila Sampanan Prita Pritan Uvachaha Satan Prapanarati Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala Dharma Gyan Shila Sampanan Prita Pritan Uvachaha Satan Prapanarati Bhagavan Dharma Vatsala Dharma Gyan Shila Sampanan Prita Pritan Uvachaha Sa Lord Shiva Tan them Prapana Arti Hara, one who drives away all kinds of dangers. Bhagavan, the Lord, Dharma Vatsala, very much fond of religious principles. Dharma Gyan, persons who are aware of religious principles. Shila Sampanan, very well behaved. Prita, being pleased. Pritan, a very gentle behavior. Uvacha, talked with them. in the past. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Lord Shiva became very pleased with the prachetas because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and persons of gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princes, he began to speak as follows. Purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, is known as Bhakta Vatsala, and herein we find Lord Shiva described as Dharma Vatsala. Of course, the word Dharma Vatsala refers to a person who lives according to religious principles. That is understood. Nonetheless, these two words have additional significance. Sometimes Lord Shiva has to deal with persons who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Such persons are not always very much religious and pious in their activities, but since they worship Lord Shiva for some material profit, they sometimes obey the religious principles. As soon as Lord Shiva sees that his devotees are following religious principles, he blesses them. The Prachetas, sons of Prachina Bharya, were naturally very pious and gentle, and consequently Lord Shiva was immediately pleased with them. Lord Shiva could understand that the princes were sons of Vaishnavas, and as such Lord Shiva offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as follows. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gnanjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yana Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Pancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The translation again. Lord Shiva became very pleased with the Prachetas because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and persons of gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princes, he began to speak as follows. If you go back to the 19th verse of this chapter, one of the words used to describe the Prachetas is sadhava. Prabhupada begins the purport by explaining the meaning of the word sadhava. Sadhava can mean pious, or sadhava can also mean well-behaved. In this text, verse 26, we are looking at the description of Lord Shiva's character. Here he is described as Dharma Vatsala. In the text it says that Lord Shiva is the protector of the pious and persons of gentle behavior. Since the Prachetas are sadhava, Lord Shiva is very pleased with them. He has come to give them guidance in spiritual life so that they can develop their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and awaken their love of Godhead. Then Prabhupada mentions here that there is a deeper meaning to the words Dharma Vatsala. Lord Shiva is so merciful that he is willing to deal with people who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Such persons are not pious nor religiously inclined, but such people desire material profit, and sometimes they follow religious principles when there is something to gain from it. Such persons are not practicing religion to become a good person, to be pious, nor to develop a relationship with the Supreme Lord. They take to the practice of religious principles because they are getting some gratification, position, blessing, etc. As Prabhupada says in the purport, they worship for want of material profit. Even though such people are only practicing religious principles because they are getting something in return, Lord Shiva is so merciful that he sees that these people are practicing religious principles, and so he blesses them as a form of motivation. In Krishna book, there is a story about Vrikasur, a demon. Vrikasur wanted to know who is the easiest to please, Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, or Lord Shiva. Vrikasur learned that Lord Shiva is very easily pleased. So he started worshipping Lord Shiva. Every day he would cut a piece of his flesh and offer it in the sacrificial fire. He would do this continuously, and ultimately he got no response from Lord Shiva. Then he got the bright idea that he should cut his head off and put it in the fire. Lord Shiva, being merciful, appeared before Vrikasur in order to stop him from killing himself. After some inquiry, Lord Shiva offered to fulfill Vrikasur's desire. Vrikasur wanted a boon by which, when he touched somebody's head, that person's head would split into 1,000 pieces. After getting Lord Shiva's benediction, Vrikasur started to show his true intentions. He knew Lord Shiva's wife, Parvati, was very beautiful, so he reached out to touch Lord Shiva's head, thinking that after getting rid of Lord Shiva, Vrikasur would be able to enjoy Parvati. But Lord Shiva escaped. Lord Shiva ran for his life, and Vrikasur chased after. Lord Shiva would end up running all over the universe, from the lower planetary systems to the upper planetary systems, and Vrikasur would chase after. Then eventually Lord Shiva would run past Shvetadvip, the abode of Lord Narayan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing the circumstances, took the form of a brahmachari on the path that Vrikasur was running on. The Supreme Lord stopped Vrikasur for an inquiry. Why was he chasing Lord Shiva, etc.? Vrikasur started explaining his situation. Then the Supreme Lord, in the form of a young brahmachari, started expressing some doubt. I don't think Lord Shiva gave you any such power to touch someone's head and let it be destroyed. Just look at him. He covers his body with the ashes of dead people. Does he look reliable? This Lord Shiva doesn't have a house of his own. How can he afford to give you a benediction? So the Supreme Lord would argue the point very convincingly. As you would already know, when Lord Chaitanya was present, he was also known as Nimai Pandit. He was called Pandit because he never lost a debate. It's described that whatever argument you put in front of Nimai, the Lord would defeat the argument. Then Nimai would take the losing argument and defeat the winning argument. In the same way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead convinced Vrikasur that he didn't get any boon that could explode someone's head. So the Supreme Lord, in the form of a young brahmachari, told Vrikasur, I bet you if you touch your head, nothing will happen. So Vrikasur touched his head. And you know what happened? His head exploded. Yes. So they are people in the modes of passion and ignorance who take to the practice of religious principles for the sake of gaining some material profit. In the West, sometimes people pray to God, but their prayers seemingly goes unanswered. It's probably because we have the same mindset as Brikasur. Once you get what you want, you are going to stab God in the back. You might not be as extreme as Brikasur. You might not even know that you have the same mindset as Brikasur. There is a modern saying, the greatest evil is someone who thinks they are doing the absolute good. People with that mindset, who think they are doing the absolute good, use that as justification to do bad things. My religion is the right religion. Everything else is evil. People who think they are doing the absolute good are the ones who commit atrocities to others. So Lord Shiva is Dharma Vatsala, protector of religious principles. And so there are different classes of men who see religion differently. For a first-class man, a sadhu, religion is a means by which a practitioner can break away from human limitations. By engaging in religious activities, I gain piety, pious merit. With pious merits, I can get good fortune, thus overcoming my previous human limitation. Or, at the end of my life, I can go to heaven, thus transcending my previous human limitations. For a second-class man, religion is an etiquette. I follow the rules and regulations, the do's and don'ts. Religion tells you the rules of behavior. For those who follow the rules and regulations, they carry themselves with dignity. They carry themselves with nobility, like aristocracy. And those who don't follow the etiquette are peasants, no different from animals. In ISKCON, we follow the 4 regulative principles of religion: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. By following these regulative principles, now you are on the human platform. For a third-class man, religion is a business. Sometimes Prabhupada would use the term a post-dated check. A post-dated check has no value in the present, and it may have value in the future. So a businessman tells you, or a businessman sells religion. By taking up this religion, you will be saved. By taking up this religion, you can avoid going to hell. By taking up this religion, you will go to heaven. All for the price of X amount. For a fourth-class man, religion means hope. Hope for a better future. Hope for freedom from my current miseries. Hope for survival. Hope for happiness. There's a video of a psychiatrist and he was conversing about suicide. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. And he was conversing about suicide. Lots and lots of men commit suicide. Some of these suicidal men become his patients. And by interacting with such men, he had learned that these men are not suicidal because of loneliness, nor depression, nor some mental illness. This doctor, from his many years of practice, he knows what depression and so on looks like. And these suicidal men are perfectly healthy, cognizant, stable men. The problem, however, is men have their backs against the wall. They have already been dragged through the mud. No matter how analytical, logical, methodical, or strategic, any solution to their material problems has a 100% chance of failure. How do you succeed if everything and everyone is against you? Such men cannot see any outlet that can help them weather the storm, so to speak. No matter how good of a fight I can put up, I'm going to lose anyway. Once, realistically, there is no hope for survival, then why struggle in a losing battle? And such men give up their lives, knowing that their lives serve no purpose. But for those men who haven't completely fallen into the abyss, the last form of hope is to turn to religion. Only God can help me now. For a fourth-class man, religion means hope. Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita that there are 4 kinds of men that surrender unto him: the seeker of the absolute, a first-class man; the inquisitive, a second-class man; the desirer of wealth, a third-class man; and the distressed, a fourth-class man. There is also a 5th kind of man, an atheist. For an atheist, religion means shackles. The rules and regulations of religion are like chains. It is restricting my freedom of expression. It is controlling me, and I am like a slave. There was an article where an incident had happened in an American school. The school happened to be pro-transgender. That was their political view. So in this school, there was a boy who identifies as a girl, dresses as a girl, behaves like a girl. So this boy who identifies as a girl needed to use the bathroom. Which bathroom does he use? He uses the girl's bathroom. In this girl's bathroom, there was a girl, biological female, inside. She, for whatever reason, was changing. Changing meaning she had to remove her clothes. So she was partially or fully naked or something like that. So this boy who identifies as a girl, dresses as a girl, behaves like a girl. He sees an actual girl naked before him. And what happens to him? He stops being a girl and proceeds to sexually assault this girl. Then after the incident takes place, the school, which is politically pro-transgender, but has this issue now, try to cover up the incident because it will tarnish the school's reputation. Because of the school's actions, it eventually ended up becoming a court case. So for an atheist, religion means shackles. It is preventing me from the freedom to enjoy my senses. Religion is preventing me from being an animal and preventing me from completely engaging in the animalistic propensities of eating, sleeping, mating, and being merry. Atheists wants to be unrestrained so that they can have unrestricted sense gratification. They want to be animals. For an atheist, religion means shackles. For a virtuous man, regardless of what position he is in life, a person who is of good character and good qualities, for him, religion is a binding. Religion is a binding because for a good person, his good qualities and characteristics can be taken hostage by demoniac people who will blackmail him to act according to their whims. Previously, there used to be a home affairs opposite the temple, and sometimes people would be short on money to pay for their documents. So what do? They come to the temple. They come to the book counter to borrow money. Why come to the temple? Because you want to take advantage of the devotees' kindness. They take your kindness hostage, then ransom your kindness for money. Such a mentality is demoniac. Sometimes some Mataji will feel sorry for them and give money from her own purse. Many times it is seen that people come to the temple for free food. Such people insert themselves in places that is not meant for public feeding. Because they know that the devotees have that the devotees have a good nature and won't turn them away. These demoniac people take advantage of that by coming again and again. It's exactly like Vrikasur taking advantage of Lord Shiva. For a virtuous person, religion is a binding. For any religious practitioner, the central focus is almost always sense gratification. By pleasuring the senses, I think I will be happy. That is false. If you are relying on something external to make yourself happy, then you are creating an illusion of happiness that ultimately leads to suffering. Bhagavad Gita 18:38. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end, is said to be the nature of passion. Sense gratification leads to suffering. Still, Lord Shiva is Dharma Vatsala. He is so merciful that he gives his mercy to people in the modes of passion and ignorance when they attempt to practice religious principles. Even though Lord Shiva knows that these people want something in return, Lord Shiva still blesses them in order to motivate them to continue practicing religious principles. From another perspective, in the 11th canto, Krishna is speaking to Uddhava about deep transcendental subject matters. He touches on the topic of karma kanda. So this is what he says. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 3, Text 44. Childish and foolish people are attached to materialistic fruitive activities. Although the actual goal of life is to be free from such activities, therefore the Vedic injunctions indirectly lead one to the path for ultimate liberation by first prescribing fruitive religious activities, just as a father promises his child candy so that the child would take his medicine. Medicine doesn't taste very good, so then it's difficult for a child to consume it. However, when a parent makes a promise of something sweet, then the child is willing to make the sacrifice in order to get the sweet. Similarly, the Vedic literatures are structured in such a way that the Vedas offer material profit in order to attract people who are childish and foolish, people who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, respectively, so that they can take their medicine in the form of practicing religious principles. So who wants candy in the form of material profit? The childish and the foolish. The childish and the foolish are very similar to a scene of a dog and a dog owner. The dog owner holds a biscuit in front of the dog, and immediately the dog wants the biscuit. The dog becomes restless. Its tail starts wagging. Drool is falling from its mouth. The dog owner says, "Sit." If the dog doesn't sit, the dog won't get the biscuit. So the dog learns that in order to get the biscuit, it has to restrain the senses. The dog sits down, back straight. There can be noise and chaos going around the dog, but the dog withdrew its senses from the environment. The dog is completely oblivious to its surroundings. Like a first-class yogi, the dog's eyes are fixed on the tip of the nose because in front of the nose is the biscuit. Seeing that the dog is well behaved, the dog owner gives the dog the biscuit. Prabhupada would say that modern human society is filled with polished animals. It's explained that animals have propensities: eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. And if you look at modern society, the goals of humanity never goes beyond the material senses. The goal is sense gratification. Society caters to eating. So many establishments that is just about food. So many establishments that sell sleep, nice bed, nice pillow, no more back pain while sleeping, etc. Modern society sells sex life. If you can buy this car, you can get this kind of girl. Then you have advertisements for defending, life insurance, medical aid, security, and so on. Everything in modern society is directed towards making animal life nicer. The difference, however, is that an animal in the wild gets everything for free, but a polished animal has to pay for it. What happens when a polished animal prays for a luxurious life so that he can eat, sleep, mate, and defend? Then he is a religious animal. Such people, Krishna says, are childish and foolish. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells Arjuna, the less intelligent are attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 42 to 43. Men of small knowledge are very much attached to the flowery words of the Vedas, which recommend various fruitive activities for elevation to heavenly planets, resultant, good birth, power, and so forth. Being desirous of sense gratification and opulent life, they say that there is nothing more than this. A good example of this is the month of Kartik. During Kartik, we offer a lamp, and the Shastras say that the result of the offering will be multiplied 1,000 times. If we take Krishna's words into consideration, then to make an offering in service is the religious principle, and the multiplier of 1,000 is the candy. But only a foolish person thinks that the candy is important. The candy is not important, and in fact, it can be bad for you. Too many sweets can make you diabetic. So the candy is not important. What cures the sickness is the medicine. And the medicine in the form of religious principles is available every day of the year, not only in the month of Kartik. Intelligent persons know that the medicine is more important than the candy, and therefore they don't wait for some festival to appear or wait for Sunday to come to the temple and associate with devotees. They know that they have to practice every day. One time, Saurabh Damodar Prabhu gave a class and he quoted something he read from Facebook. You cannot become spiritually strong only by coming to the temple on Sunday. So the lesson is to become spiritually strong, you have to be at it every day. So Dharma Vatsala, Lord Shiva, has come to give guidance to the Prachetas so that they understand that the candy is of no importance, and it is actually the medicine that is going to help them. I'll stop over here. Any questions or comments? Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.